What's good, everybody? It's your boy John Bracey, aka Magister Bracey, coming at you today with a quick video about equitable relationship building, keeping it real. This video is going to be all about how to keep it real in the Latin classroom and how to use that to build what I call equitable relationships. Let's get started. What is equitable relationship building? Very good question. I'm glad you asked. So, equitable relationship building means building relationships that are, and this is referring to students, building relationships with students that are equitable, ones that are designed to make it so that every student is able to form lasting and meaningful, trusting relationships with you, their teacher. And the reason why I use equitable is because it's going to be different, slightly different for different types of students in order to gain that trust, in order to build that kind of relationship. So if that's what you're looking for, you've come to the right place. So on to the main topic of today, which is how do I keep it real in the classroom? All right, so the topic of today's video is keeping it real. What's keeping it real? Keeping it real means being authentic, being yourself, being genuine, being true to who you are. So why is that important, and how do I actually use that in the classroom? So number one, the way that we build connections with people in general is through allowing ourselves to be seen for who we are. Listening to people, revealing parts of ourselves to people, and being vulnerable, right? Now, this is important because in order to build trust, people have to get the sense that you are being real, that you are being true to who you actually are, that you're not trying to con them, you're not trying to manipulate them. You are really trying to build an authentic connection with them. Now, what does this mean for the classroom? So, depending on who your students are, if you're talking about students who are from let's just say advantaged backgrounds versus students who are from communities that have been marginalized, ones that have had different experiences with adults, with authority, with school. The way that you're going to approach these different kinds of students is going to be slightly different, and the responses are going to be slightly different than what you might expect. But here's how you do this. Right. So, to be a little bit vulnerable for a second, I am a member of a couple of marginalized communities. I am African American, and I was a student who had special needs in terms of executive functioning disorders and things of the sort, right? So I really struggled in school and needed a lot of help. So when it came to the classroom and relationships with teachers, my primary interaction with adults in general was not very positive. I was the kid who never had their homework. I was the kid who was um, constantly being a disappointment to those around me, is the way that I felt. And the challenge that I had with that was that I just didn't feel like I could make real connections with teachers because whatever it is that they wanted from me, I couldn't give them, is what I felt like. So I started to withdraw from them. And this is something you might see from your students as well. So when we come into the classroom, we are coming in having experienced institutions, people in authority, people in positions of power, not always having our best interest in mind and not always working on our behalf. So we come in with that little bit of skepticism. Like, okay, is this person really with me? Is this person really on my side? Does this person really care? And the way that we prove that to our students is, number one, by being ourselves with our students. That is the essence of keeping it real. So how do you do that? One, when you're talking to your students, don't, and I repeat, do not try to become who you think they want you to be, right? Like if you are from small town Connecticut in like an affluent suburb and you're teaching in the middle of a city and most of your students are students of color, it's not a good idea to pretend to be who you think they want you to be, right? Like you see in those movies where, you know, like the white teacher comes to the hood and then starts acting hood and that's how they relate. I caution you not to do that. No one wants that from you. What we want is to know that you're real. And if you are that person from Connecticut, that small town, suburban, affluent Connecticut white person, be that person. Be that person with your kids. So, perfect example. If a student mentions a musician or a TV show that you've never heard of, don't know what it is, don't pretend like you know what it is. Say, I don't know what that is. What is that? Be honest with your kids, right? Because they're not looking for people to pretend. They're looking for people to be real. Now, depending on the students you have in front of you, again, if they're students of color, if they're students of disadvantaged economic backgrounds, social backgrounds, there's going to be a level of distrust to start off with. So you might find yourself being authentic, being real, and still being met with a little bit of a wall, a little bit of resistance there. That's okay. Keep at it. The more real you are, the more authentic you are in that classroom, the more people are going to feel comfortable. And then these students from these different backgrounds, including students like I was, they're going to start relating to you. They're going to start opening up to you. And I will tell you that I have seen a variety of teachers with a variety of approaches, with a variety of backgrounds, personalities, ages, everything of the sort, be able to connect deeply with all kinds of students. And the key component that's always there is that they are always real. They are always themselves. They are always exactly who they are. So whether you're dealing with a student who is your little superstar, or your student who seems to be having a lot of problems, a lot of difficulties, a lot of struggles, if they see that you love them the same as you love all of the other kids, they're going to be with you. But the key thing is that none of the rest of the advice that you get or that I give you in the next couple of videos is going to be applicable if you're going to try to fake any of this stuff. Be real, acknowledge who you are, make those connections. That's how you do that. All right? So this has been Equitable Relationship Building Part 1, Keeping It Real. Come back, I got more for you. Take care.